Hey Feasters, and welcome to episode 181. And if you're looking to perform some health checks on your business every month, this is for you. I'm going to share with you the things that I check on and how I think about them that has allowed me to grow my business for the past decade. Welcome to the Ask Rezzz podcast. I'm Jason, and I'm here to help you get past those bumps in the road, those struggles, those things that hold you back from building an amazing and profitable freelance business each and every single day. And in episode 180, you learn my framework for performing a weekly review. That's look back, look ahead, and execute. When I found that this framework worked for me, I started applying it to all the reviews that I did, including weekly, monthly, and yearly. See, I'll be honest, I tweak my business and how I do things all the time, if you haven't noticed. So I would like to actually replace my monthly with a quarterly review. However, I haven't done that yet because I still feel that there's a lot to be learned in performing monthly reviews. I'd also like to sprinkle in a daily review as well, but like I said, I'm still learning these things and I'm sharing with you how I go about doing these things. So let's talk about the topic, and that's the monthly review. First thing is look back on the month. Very much like the weekly review, I look back on the revenue, only this time it's the very first thing I do. I've got a few different revenue streams into the business, and the next two episodes will dive into how I got those revenue streams. But since I do have those different revenue streams in the business, I have certain goals for each one of them. And looking back on which stream brought in how much revenue is important for the business to understand if I'm meeting those goals and if it's still a viable stream for me. I've only started recently taking a review on the expenses during each and every month, only just so that I'm not overly surprised at the end of the year, and it allows me to curb and keep those $10 a month services under wraps. Then I look back on the projects as a whole, not on the daily tasks. It's really more of just a quick look to make sure that everything is moving forward. Really only because I tend to do these monthly reviews the same day I'm doing my weekly review. I have a monthly spreadsheet that I record all the KPIs of my business. And when I say all of them, there's really only, 6 or 7. But I do this to make sure that the business is healthy and trending in the right direction. Now, the second part is the look ahead. Similar to the weekly review, I look at the calendar month as a whole. I look for personal vacations or events, holidays, and anything that may throw priorities or projects a little off track that I need to be aware of. This is when I do review the longer term projects and the someday project list as well. If the past month ended up finishing up one long-term project or one is close to being wrapped up, I'll line up the next one that's important. I'll review them also at a high level to see if they are still important and or needed. This is how I curb my distractions. Look, as entrepreneurs, we tend to jump onto the shiny object, but it's curbing that enthusiasm of that next project that you need to do to make sure that you're moving the needle of your business. So if I have an idea, I put it in as a long-term project and then let it bubble up later to make sure that it's still relevant and important. The final piece of the puzzle here is to execute. This is the hardest part because I really just go back to work. Since I do my monthly review at the top of my weekly review, not at the first of every single month, I allow the natural course of the monthly review flow into my weekly review. So once I've done my monthly review, made sure that all the ducks are in a row here, I dive right into my weekly review. I put a recurring task in my task management tool. Right now I'm using Todoist. for the first Sunday of every month to do the monthly review prior to the weekly review. And that's it. It doesn't take too long for me to do all these things, maybe 10, 15 minutes at most, but it allows me some insight and priorities in the projects ahead that if you don't do this monthly review, you just won't have. If you have a question, ask Rezzz. That's me, by leaving me a tweet at Rezzz on Twitter, or head on over to askrezzz.com and subscribe to this podcast. If you like what I'm doing here, why not head on over to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating or review as well. Those reviews help others like us find this podcast and help them out as well. Until next time, it's your time to live in the feast.